I'll tell you what, this is an eerie one. So fans, listen to this. This is an eerie story, but in Caroline County, there was a woman that was found dead in her home. I think she was in her mid 50s, and she's found dead. There's no clues. My dad goes in to work it. I mean, he was a pretty good investigator. They go and they got nothing. They're not seeing any kind of sign of what's going on. She's found like on the couch dead. She lives in a farmhouse. Husband's out of town. And the sister actually has a premonition. Her sister in another state has a view of her coming up out of the ocean, and then calls the neighbors and is like, something's going on with my sister. They go over, they find her dead. So my dad's checking all this out, and there's a kid next door who's like 14, and he's found hanging in his closet. So my dad calls Wrestler, and he describes the scene, and Wrestler's like, it's not him. He goes, you don't think that the kid maybe did it? It's a guilt thing, is why, he didn't hang himself. That's the sexual gratification asphyxiation thing. He said he's masturbating while hanging himself, and he got too far and he killed himself. And he called it, and that's exactly what it was. So in 1977, Wrestler's like, the kid's not the murderer, and he didn't hang himself because of it. The kid was masturbating while trying to cut the air, and he hung himself or hanged himself by accident. But Dad's like, okay, so I'll move on. 2 years later, this is eerie. My dad's sitting at the desk, and secretary's like, hey, get the Georgia State Police on the line. They want to talk to you. So my dad says, yeah, Audie Moore Sheriff. They're like, hey, we're Georgia State Police. Did you have a murder 2 years ago? And describes every part of it. And he goes, yeah, absolutely. Up on Route 2, heading towards Fredericksburg, blah, blah, blah. We got the guy. So they had a shootout with this guy in Georgia, and they get a hold of his personal effects. He's got like 18 of those cassette tapes where he's recording all of his murders. He wanted to be the most famous serial killer of all time. And every time he kills somebody, he gets in the vehicle as he moves away and starts speaking into the cassette recorder what he just did. So here's the spooky part about this one. She was this woman that was murdered. She's shopping at the giant food store. I remember it's up at 4 Mile Fork up in Fredericksburg, up there where Route 1 and whatever that crossing road, Route 3, I guess, where they intersect, there was a giant food store. So she's in the giant, and somebody else from the community goes, hey, whatever her name was, how you doing, honey? She goes, great. Goes, how's Jim? He's in Detroit on business. She innocently just says out, she's packing up the groceries into the basket. He hears husband's in Detroit, and he's in the store. So this is what he puts on the tape. So he follows her out. She carries her groceries out, puts them in the car. He stands off to the side, jumps in his car, follows her, sees her turn up that dirt road off of Route 2 towards her house, follows right in behind her, recognizes the husband's out of town. She's not going to lie to her friend and say he was out of town. Now he's just trying to check out his bearings. Is she really alone? She was. He goes in, rapes her, kills her, leaves her dead, and there's no real clues. He was good at leaving scenes without a clue, but he ended up screwing up somewhere in Georgia, gets into a firefight with the Georgia State Police, basically, and they kill him. So when they kill him, he admits on these tapes to taking the lives of 8 women. And she just happened to be one of them. But it was on that. So these Georgia State Police is just listening to tapes. Now they get all this information. So they call my dad. Did you have a murder 2 years ago? And they describe it. And he goes, exactly like that. So anyway, that was an interesting story of, I was leading to the fact that Bob Wrestler was one of those criminal profiles. That's who my dad called to find out what he thought of the kid next door. And he nailed it. He goes, it's not him.